Okay, let's dive straight into this. Picture it. We are plunging right into the living room exactly 4 years after the events of Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, you probably remember how that era ended, right? The sheer retro-futuristic optimism of Earth 828 violently clashing with the cosmic terror of Galactus. It left the Fantastic Four fundamentally changed. So imagine stepping out of that world-shattering conflict into what absolutely should be a quiet, safe, domestic moment, only to find the tone is unbelievably tense. It literally leaves you breathless. We're looking at a moment that is going to completely redefine the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today, in this explainer, we're going to unpack every single layer of this monumental encounter, piece by piece.
So, Sue Storm walks back into her living room. She's simply expecting to read her son another bedtime story. Instead, she finds Dr. Doom. He's already there, kneeling silently in front of her 4-year-old son, Franklin Richards. But honestly, it's what's missing in this picture that sends absolute chills down your spine. If you know the lore, you know Doom's face is heavily guarded. His iconic, terrifying mask is his literal and metaphorical shield against a world he absolutely despises. Taking it off is completely unprecedented. Yet here, it isn't on his face. It's just held loosely at his side. And Franklin, this fearless little kid, is reaching out to touch the supervillain's hidden, scarred face. Just think about the sheer, eerie weight of that moment. It's staggering. There is absolutely no dialogue, no grand villainous monologue, no explanation whatsoever. Just a supervillain and a child staring at each other in complete silence. I really need you to understand that this wordless, haunting scene isn't just some shocking little post-credit stinger. No, it is undeniably the single most important clue leading us directly into Avengers Doomsday. Now, to figure out why a villain of Doom's massive stature would do something so entirely out of character, we have to look at Franklin's cosmic power. Because look, Franklin isn't just any ordinary kid. He is the absolute center of the multiverse right now. And to truly understand Doom's motivations here, we have to grasp the sheer, terrifying scale of what this 4-year-old is actually capable of. Let's think back to First Steps for a second. The cosmic entity Galactus himself identified something inside baby Franklin that literally stopped him dead in his tracks. And what he found was the power cosmic. This is the godlike force that fuels Galactus's own immense world-eating abilities, and it was identified entirely within a baby. Galactus wasn't just surprised, he was in absolute awe. He wanted Franklin specifically to become his successor, his perfect replacement as the next devourer of worlds. Why? Because the raw energy radiating from this infant eclipsed anything the universe had ever seen. We have to deeply understand the scale of Franklin's impossible feats. I mean, not only does he possess the power cosmic and the ability to just halt a world eater, but think back to the climax of that story. When Sue Storm nearly died defeating Galactus, it was baby Franklin who brought his own mother back from the dead with nothing but a touch. Just let that emotional weight sink in for a second. We are talking about a child who reached into the void and resurrected a human soul before he could even walk. The multiversal stakes tied to a being of this magnitude are absolutely staggering. And having that unfathomable level of power naturally brings us to the concept of remaking the multiverse. When Dr. Doom shows up 4 years later, kneeling before this very same child, the first and honestly most logical theory ties directly back to the comic source material. It's all about harnessing the ultimate battery for reality itself. If we look at the Secret Wars blueprint from Jonathan Hickman's epic 2015 comic storyline, which we know heavily inspires Doomsday, the multiverse dies. Everything just collapses. But Doom survives by stealing the power of the Molecule Man, basically acting as a god to build a patchwork reality called Battleworld. In the MCU, it really seems like Franklin Richards is taking on that crucial reality-bending role. In the comics, Franklin grows up to become one of the single most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, literally capable of creating entire pocket universes from pure imagination. So if we trace this path, the multiverse collapses, Doom secures Franklin, and then reality is rebuilt, we can completely see the brilliant cinematic strategy at play here. Doom wants to get ahead of the collapse. He needs Franklin's reality-warping imagination before the incursions finish destroying everything. That way, Doom gets to control exactly how reality is stitched back together. But hold on, what if it's not just about cosmic power and multiversal control? Let's pivot for a second to a completely different, much darker, and deeply emotional perspective, a father's grief. Because honestly, absolute power alone simply does not explain the deeply intimate way that living room scene actually plays out. Think about the stark contrast and strategies here. Normally, you'd expect the image of a conqueror sizing up a weapon, right? Instead, we get the profound intimacy of a grieving father, voluntarily removing his mask. Dr. Doom doesn't grab Franklin. He doesn't threaten him. He voluntarily unmasks in front of a child who has literally never met him before, and just lets the boy touch his scarred face. Guys, that is not the behavior of a cold, calculating villain trying to secure a multiversal battery. That is something far closer to profound heartbreak. It's like a man looking at something he thought he would never, ever see again. And this brings us to a really haunting insider theory centered completely around Earth A28. According to some widely circulated reports, Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Dr. Doom isn't just some random genius with a grudge who popped over from the sacred timeline. No, this version of Victor Von Doom actually originates from the Fantastic Four's very own universe, Earth 828. This means he shares their history, their aesthetic, and quite possibly some deeply personal ties to their lives that have since been totally shattered.
Imagine this. In a destroyed world, Doom may have lost a wife and a son, and now he's seeing Franklin as a painful mirror of his lost family. What if in Doom's original timeline, before everything just fell apart, he was the one married to a version of Sue Storm? What if Franklin Richards was, in some twisted multiversal sense, meant to be his own son? Losing that family, suffering that immense emotional devastation, only to cross dimensions and encounter a version of that exact same child alive and well? You can completely see how this unimaginable tragedy could be the very thing that pushed him toward villainy in the first place. Franklin isn't just power to him. He's a painful, involuntary reminder of everything Doom failed to protect.
We can actually take this even further by looking at the dark rescue angle. This is a theory that closely mirrors Kristoff's comic storyline. It involves kidnapping Franklin for his cosmic power and represents a desperate attempt to undo a family tragedy. Let's dig into the deep comic lore for a second. Doom had an adopted son named Christophe Bernard, and Doom actually used Christophe to kidnap Franklin specifically so he could harness Franklin's cosmic power to bargain with the demon Mephisto for the soul of Doom's own dead mother, Cynthia. If Doomsday adapts his emotional core, Doom might genuinely believe taking Franklin is his only path to saving someone he's already lost. It completely reframes him, doesn't it? He isn't just a straightforward megalomaniac, he's a broken father consumed by grief, willing to literally tear apart the fabric of the multiverse just to undo his own personal tragedy. But of course, the universe isn't exactly gonna just step aside for him and his grief. This brings us right into the multiversal war, because the stakes are so much higher than one living room in New York, and there are massive god-tier cosmic obstacles standing in Doom's way if he wants to successfully rewrite reality. Doom's grand strategy requires 3 distinct, absolutely monumental phases. Step 1, secure Franklin's power. Step 2, use that unfathomable energy to overpower Loki, which brings us to Step 3, finally controlling the timelines. Because right now in the MCU, following the events of Loki Season 2, Loki sits at the literal end of time, physically holding the branches of Yggdrasil together. He's the god of stories now, the ultimate guardian of the multiverse. If Dr. Doom's goal is to seize control, Loki represents his single, biggest, most insurmountable obstacle. I mean, Doom needs a weapon to unseat a literal god. So the theory here is that Franklin's raw, barely tapped cosmic power is exactly what Doom requires to dethrone Loki, turning this innocent little boy into a multiversal weapon of mass destruction. And the clock is absolutely ticking on all of this because of the impending collision. The apocalyptic threat looming over both the Fantastic Four and the Avengers is unparalleled, and it is hurtling toward them way faster than anyone realizes. Reports and marketing materials have repeatedly emphasized a looming incursion. Now, an incursion is a civilization-ending event where 2 separate Earths are drawn onto a direct collision course. We're talking about the sheer, unimaginable scale of Earth 828, the Fantastic Four's world, and Earth 616, the main Avengers world, literally smashing right into each other. Every single life on both of those Earths hangs in the balance, and right now, neither side has a scientific or magical way out of this mutual destruction. So the fundamental truth of the MCU right now is simply this. Franklin's reality-altering power is the only known force capable of safely resolving an incursion. He is quite literally the only life raft in a dying multiverse. Doom's obsession with this 4-year-old boy isn't just some side plot or a distraction. It is the actual, literal key to the entire movie's central crisis and preventing total multiversal collapse. Because without Franklin's imagination to buffer the collision, everything ends. Both worlds burn to ash. Which naturally places our heroes right in the middle of an absolutely impossible dilemma. This emotional climax leaves Reed, Sue, and the Avengers in a heartbreaking position heading into this war. Reed and Sue are facing two terrifying possibilities. The first is Doom's direct attack. This would force the Fantastic Four and the Avengers to fight together in an all-out, bloody war just to protect Franklin from being abducted. But the second, and honestly far more insidious threat, is Doom's manipulation. What if Franklin willingly trusts the villain? Doom might take a much quieter, psychological approach, earning the child's trust, just like we saw in that haunting post-credit scene, long before Reed or Sue even realize what's happening. Just imagine the sheer horror for Reed and Sue if their own son quietly ends up siding with the broken man trying to conquer reality, totally convinced that Doom is actually the victim here. And it all comes down to this deeply tragic realization. Avengers Doomsday may ultimately be about a broken man circling the one thing that could either complete his revenge or finally heal him. A little boy who has absolutely no idea just how much every side of this coming multiversal war desperately wants him. It's a breathtaking emotional core, and it elevates his film so far beyond just a simple superhero beatdown.
So it leaves us with this final burning question. Is Dr. Doom's connection to Franklin purely about seizing cosmic power? Or is it something far more deeply, tragically personal? I really want to know what you think. Let me know your theories. And if you enjoy this explainer, be sure to subscribe to What If With You for more comprehensive Avengers Doomsday coverage as we piece together every single clue leading up to the trailer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next one.